Hello, 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 hello. Yay, we are live. Gotta wait for a couple of minutes for you all to join me. Hello, hello. Say hello when you join. Let me know that you're here. Hashtag Warrior of Light. Hashtag Transmission Sundays. So good to have you all here. I'm a little early today, so I usually take 10 more minutes than the promised time. Hello, Bongile. Hello, Busi. Hello, Tulile. Yes, awesome. Thank you for joining me, everyone, on this Transmission Sundays. Yes, I do transmissions every other Sunday. Not every Sunday, but every other Sunday. And today I am really excited to do this transmission. For a couple of reasons, right? So the first one is the topic that we're gonna be jumping into today is a higher purpose, which is like my favorite topic. It is part of my body of work as well. I'm here to help you step into your higher purpose. And today I'm going to bring a different perspective on how we can understand our higher purpose, right? And this particular theme is, I think, important, vital right now as we, there is this gateway that we are experiencing. Right. There are often many gateways, right? But the Lions Gate portal, which is happening tomorrow, 8/8, but you can already feel the energies of Lions Gate, and these energies have been active since the beginning of August. They're gonna expand even more tomorrow, and then they will continue to be on that stream until they kind of come back into a more grounded frequency from August 12th, but that energy will still be with us towards the end of August, right? And the energy itself, I've spoken about this a lot in the last couple of live streams, has a lot to do with us being given this an extra boost, an extra boost by the great central sun, by Solaris, our sun, which is really supporting us into unlocking higher awareness, higher perception, higher truth of who we are, and supporting us to step into the next level of our ascension, of our journey, of our awakening, and obviously stepping into our higher purpose. So that's why we are vibing. Today I'm in a different place in my house. Wanted to see how it feels, and also hoping that the sound will be less. I don't know. Let me know if you're able to hear me properly, if this is working out so far. Yay. Hello, Shanisa. It's been a while. Salandria, how are you? How have you been? Amazing. Okay. So send me some heart emoji if you can hear, and we're gonna jump in. I've got a couple of things I wanna define, and as I'm defining this couple of things, this is also a bit of an activation, even as I am speaking. This is a transmission as well. Whenever I say we're having a transmission, it means that there is this high level of frequency coming through as I am doing this, right? I am emitting, transmuting codes that will help you awaken, that will accelerate your awakening. As every single one of us in some way, we are constantly doing that, transmitting knowledge, transmitting information, activating, each other in different ways. So thank you for the hearts, beloved. Yes, okay. So before we jump in, multi-dimensional codes masterclass is happening this Thursday. This is really my Lionsgate offering for those who've been following me. I don't particularly like to do these activations on the day of the portal itself. I want it to be more grounded so that it's easier for us to tap into the true fields, organic and natural ways in which we are supposed to work with the extra support that we are getting from the sun, from Solaris, from the solar guardians and frequencies. All right. So August 11th, I will be doing a live activation, and this is unlike anything I've ever done. This is a new way in which I will be transmitting the information. For a start, if you've ever attended my masterclass, you may know that I like to bring in like notes where there will be notes and I'm explaining concept. This time around, that won't be the vibe. The vibe will be that I will be transmitting from my higher self, higher consciousness, Christ itself. So the entire process from beginning to end, you will be in a live activation. So what I will be teaching are things that are coming directly from Source God, from my higher consciousness, from the Christ impulse. New codes, new information that you won't be able to find anywhere because it's directly being channeled through me as a vessel. So I wasn't planning to do this multidimensional codes masterclass, but this has been the directive, and with it we will be unlocking a code that is particularly designed to support you in awakening what we're going to talk about: your locks, your keys, and your codes in your DNA, so you can step into your higher purpose. Okay? So this 3-hour immersion will be something that you will do with me one time, but it will impact you for the next year, because it will unfold and awaken not your conscious self, the unconscious, the hidden aspects of yourself that you may not even be aware of, the gifts that you're not aware of. That's what we're going to be activating. If you've ever experienced transmissions with me, Salandria, you've experienced transmissions with me, like the humans, so you've also had transmissions with me when we did the grandmothers, just sharing how powerful that experience can be. Akona as well. Please share in the chat what live transmissions. Actually, yesterday we did a live activation, Akona, in the Holy Guardian Mastermind, which kind of like blew off the roof. That's the vibe. Okay, so if you're wanting to really step into your higher purpose and you're wanting to align with the true ascension, organic ascension, and I'll explain a little bit what I mean by that, this is the masterclass immersion. Haven't announced this yet, but I will no longer be doing free masterclasses. I will do live streams like this once in a while, but I am now focusing on creating these spaces. And yes, to experience this, you would need to, match my energy, the frequency, because it takes so much energy for me to actually channel spirit, to channel Source God, the Christ, the Holy Spirit. So this will be the masterclass. Yes, last night we did a very powerful morphogenetic field work where we were activating multi-dimensional vision, your clairvoyance, ability to truly see the spirit world, which is a necessity for those who are oracles and shamans, right? Yes. So yes, we will be doing a live activation around your keys, locks, and codes, and hopefully, not hopefully, they will put you in alignment. That I know, they'll put you in alignment. And yes, you must come prepared with food. I'm still hungry as well, Akona. Yeah, I'm just like, what's happening? So the masterclass, if you want to experience this, if you've never experienced a live activation, a live transmission, healing, you can go into my bio link and click and pay for the masterclass. The masterclass is $44. So when you click there, it says pay with PayPal. So you may feel like, oh, I don't have PayPal, but what's really required is for you to just click and put in your email detail, kind of like register, and then you will be able to pay with your bank card. So it's not about PayPal account so much as it just through PayPal you'll be able to pay with your bank card. Right? If you are having difficulty with that, just send me a DM and then I'll help you with that. I'm really excited to do this, and I'll see you on Thursdays for those who are coming through. Okay, so let's jump into keys, locks, and codes, and why this matters when it comes to our higher purpose. Right. The question of purpose is one of the most elusive questions that we all have, right? We are constantly asking, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Right? How am I supposed to serve? Let me know if this is a question that, Tirele, so you just paid for this right now. Awesome. I can't wait to have you there. Amazing. Yes. So, this question of purpose is a question we're constantly asking ourselves, right? And this is, particularly for us, genetic path cutters, a very important question, right? We want to align with our true purpose. In fact, when we are not aligned, there's something that feels off, right? That feels off. Right? And if you're a genetic path cutter, that question will actually haunt you. Yes, you will feel it. No, think about it every single day. Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Is it really about this job that I'm doing? There must be something more, right? So, Bongi, you're saying that my purpose is to heal, but not sure how. Well, I mean, everyone is here to heal, but your purpose is actually greater than that. So much greater than just healing. Of course, it may be to heal others. Yes, then that's your purpose for sure. Right? So I love what you're saying about I'm not sure of the how. Right? I have been studying this question of purpose for years, trying to figure out how can someone understand what that purpose is, and after knowing what that purpose is, how can they step into that purpose? This is the body of work that I've been doing for years. And it's the same kind of thinking mindset, and everything I'll share today, and obviously even more on the multidimensional codes, is what I did. And what I did is actually not something that is logical, straightforward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. It wasn't like that for me. Right? But there are certain things that along the way I started to understand and I realized. Right? So stay with me. We're going to go up here, higher mind, right? When you are born, when you incarnate into earth, you incarnate through the blood, through the DNA, right? All of you all know I talk about the DNA all the time as a genetic alchemist. When you receive that blood stream from your mother and from your father, that blood stream has within it what we call codes, right? What is a code? It's just similar to like a computer, right? Where you put 0101, that's you putting a code. And once you've written that 0101, however way you arrange it, and you click, then that code will tell the computer what to do, right? So your blood in your body has different codes that you have received from your mother and from your father. And these codes, they are locked inside the DNA. And your journey through life will be to unlock these codes. So that means this code is actually sealed in something, and that thing has a key, like a lock, and then you have to find a key and you have to unlock and open the code, and then the code is active within you. So I'll give you an example. I was born in a lineage that has the code of teaching. My people are teachers. I mean, teachers in primary school. My grandfather was a head. All my grandfathers were headmasters. I have many aunts, teachers. Teaching is a code in my lineage. That code tells the blood, this person has the ability, the expression of teaching. They will be able to articulate themselves. They will be able to process information. They will be able to translate knowledge to others, right? That is the code of teaching. And that code can live within you, and it may come already active and you already just kind of like teach, which was kind of like the case with me growing up. I was just always a teacher, always kind of knew how to process information, right? And like shared with people. However, at the point where I'm at, that was a journey I had to keep taking over and over again, and I had to keep digging through this code, because this code, you can just think, oh, I'm meant to be a teacher. End of story. But that's not the case for most people. If you are here, it's not that simple. There are layers and layers and layers of teaching. The way you are meant to teach. Is it through movies? Is it through stories? Is it in the classroom? Is it on live stream? Where are you meant to use this code? There is even that information in your blood, literally created for you to come and unlock throughout your life. So what this means is your higher purpose is already locked within you, in your blood. It has already been determined through a sequence that was put in your DNA by they call themselves the template reality guardians. These guardians are responsible for helping put a way in which you will function, how you will function, because in a way, we are like quantum computers, right? So that information is inside you. So then we spend a lot of time thinking, my purpose is out there. Someone else will tell me what my purpose is. Someone can help you map what your purpose is. I know how to support people in mapping what their purpose is. I can read codes, right? As an oracle, as an ascension guide, as a quantum healer, I can see these codes in your field and read and tell you, oh yeah, you have this code, right? But it still doesn't mean that I can precisely even tell you how that's going to look like. Only you will know. Only you will live that purpose, that code. And in fact, you will realize what your purpose is just merely by living your life, right? By taking the steps towards the thing that is already active within you, right? So a lot of the time we think it's so much grander than what we are seeing. How do you determine a code you have within yourself? Play with me. In this moment, what is the most exciting thing you are currently spending a lot of your time doing? Right? What is that? In this moment, like in the last 3 months, what is the thing you've been excited to explore, to express? Share that with me. And then in the same chat also, share with me the thing that for more than 10 years, you just have always been good at this, been interested in this. This thing comes naturally to you. Like you don't even have to do anything. It just happens, right? Let me know. So the last 3 months where you're interested in and what you have been naturally been good at for the last decade, right? Because we literally could map your higher purpose just like that, right? Yes. So in Richard Rood Gene Keys, and the Gene Keys are basically, it's a code book. It's a book of codes, which is similar to how the Bible is a book of codes. how a lot of divine books are book of codes that kind of help you map and figure out the map and the secret to life, right? So the gene key is actually the secret to your higher purpose. And our higher purpose, that sequence is called the Pearl sequence, right? That within you, you have a code. For example, I'll give you an example of a code that every single person has, is what we call the culture sphere, right? So every single person within them have a code of shifting culture. You are born to come and shift culture in a certain way through your own divine genius, right? Your own divine genius. And when I say you're shifting culture, I mean, one, you are the type of person, whenever you enter a space, there is something that you do that changes that landscape. Whether for Lulama is, when you enter a space, you're going to create the most beautiful spaces. That's how you shift culture, through decorating. When you create amazing, juicy food, that's how you shift culture, right? When you write or you read, that's how you shift culture. You read for people, or you transfer information for people, right? When you create products for hair, like just think of how like hair is an entire culture for Black women, right? That's how you're shifting culture. That's your purpose. That's a code that's within you. And obviously right now we're simplifying it. There's an actual deeper map that we can go into. If you want to do that, I do that also through gene key readings for people. Activate the warriorpreneur. It's like where I do higher purpose work. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. Right? So within you, there is that code that often we can actually find in your mother's lineage or your father's lineage. It's very rare to find that you are the first person in your family to love cooking or decorating or mixing hair or working with hair or reading. Very rare that you are the first one. Like we can always map and find someone who was, which is why, I say this all the time. Our task when it comes to our higher purpose is to actually just map this within ourselves and live by what we see, instead of trying to go the opposite of who you are, who your blood says you are, because our blood is actually like a holy informational system that tells us, like, we were not left here to just be like lost in confusion. We were given maps, and the blood is one of the ways in which we have these maps. Right. So if you look within yourself and you look at your people and your mother and your father, what they're good at, and identify if you're also possibly good at those same things. And you can go beyond your mother and father, because maybe it's your great-grandfather or your great-uncle who you are connected to in terms of your purpose code, right? Your Pearl sequence, right? So once you have kind of like mapped the code, how do you actually unlock it, right? Like you have found that, let me know here, people who have found that they are healers, they have the code of healing. Because I found that I had that code of healing, and I did not know in the beginning how I'm supposed to unlock it, right? The typical thought is to go to someone to unlock it for you. And yes, there are initiators who are able to unlock your code for you. And how do initiators, and I speak as someone who is an initiator of gift, how do they unlock your code? Just want to give you guys the mechanics of it, just so you can see that it means you can also unlock your code. Because it always helps when someone else can do it for you, if it's aligned and if that feels like that's what your calling is. But our blood, our DNA, is holding the code, and the code is in a seal. And on top of that seal, often for most people, there is a vibration, a frequency, and that frequency often is what we call the shadow frequency or miasma, ancestral curses, ancestral oath, trauma that is hiding the code. Right? So when science is saying that there is this hidden DNA codes that they cannot determine, what they can determine is actually our true natural state, is our divine genius that is being hidden by our pain, our suffering, our trauma. So if you can't yet understand what your purpose is, often it's because there is something blocking your consciousness, your mind from having the awareness, the illumination of what that code is and even how to work with that code. So often you have to remove these shadow frequencies first, and then the gift will begin to come up naturally. I spend months with my clients literally healing them, and then they just like, Joy, I've just started to see what's going on, because your codes are your innate gift. They are natural to you. The only reason why you don't know how to use them is because something else is hiding them. That's all. It's not as if, you have to super cultivate. Yes, there are others where you do have to super cultivate, where you do have to go learn. Okay, I know that I'm a healer, but I want to learn tools, which is what we do in Holy Guardians, where I teach the tools of quantum healing. But every single person in Holy Guardians is a healer innately. They already have their class senses active, right? And all I'm doing is teach you how to then work with this. It's just tools. So as an initiator, my job is to remove the shadow frequencies. And where are these shadow frequencies? If you have your vision active, you can see someone's shadows around the aura, the auric field, which is what we call sififi in Setswana. When you go to those healers and they're like, "Onale sififi," right? You have a shadow. What is this shadow? When we look at it, we say, oh, this pain in your family is hiding your light. It's hiding your gifts, your codes, your ancient codes that you have received from your ancestors, right? So we have to cleanse out this miasma, this trauma, these shadows, right? So shadow work is powerful. It is a game changer. In my work, it's often the beginning though, right? Because you see, Tulile, this is actually connected to our class today. We're going to be talking about this in the mystery school later. But in any case, so let me give you guys an example, because this is going to be difficult to explain. Why shadow work? There is another layer to it, which is what we call multidimensional shadow work or quantum healing. We have to go beyond the more psychological oriented traditional shadow work if we truly want to unlock the keys. Okay. Okay, I'm going to talk about persecution wound. Okay, so if you as a soul, you have a code of healing, and you have incarnated on earth as a healer many different times, right? And let's pause with let's not go too far. Let's work with our ancestors, right? 100 years ago in Southern Africa or so, when the missionaries came to our part of the world, introducing Christianity to us, they basically informed our ancestors at the time that our ways of connecting with spirit is not aligned with the laws of God or the Christ laws, right? And our ancestors had to basically stop using that gift, basically stop using that healing, that medicine that is connected to the earth. And many of them actually went underground and only did this at night, only did this hiding, right? And the more time continued, the more actually we lost our knowledge of a traditional medicine and organic ways of connecting with spirit through the indigenous ways of our people, right? 100 years ago. So I want us to understand what actually happened to our blood in that moment. 100 years ago, there was a natural organic code of the healer template. And with that code, our healers within the code knew how to work with medicine. They didn't even really need a lot of awakening processes, initiatory processes for them to know how to work with that healer code, right? Because that memory was so active, that code was so active. The moment there was an energy that was introduced to our history, and that was an energy of judgment, energy of persecution, because there was times where if you did use your healing abilities during those periods, you will be persecuted. You may even be thrown out of the village, right? People started to judge you. That moment was a traumatic moment. I want you to imagine how this will look like in a computer. This actually looks like someone put a virus inside the computer, and then the virus literally began to infect that healer code. And the healer code was no longer functioning the way that it normally organically used to function, right? And now that code, because there was a foreign thought that was brought in, which was being a healer is wrong, you will be judged by God, you will not enter the gates of heaven if you do this. That's a fear, that's a shadow frequency that started to circulate that code. And as it started to circulate that code, the people who were carrying it started to have that anxiety and fear and lived with fear. And actually many of them stopped using the code entirely. And these people, they had children. And when these children were born, they were born with blood with a corrupted healer code. The new code that the new children were born with said to be a healer is wrong. You will be persecuted. You will not enter the gates of heaven. Right? So the children who were born from the ancestors who went through the persecution just grew up being scared of being healers, being freaking out a little bit about, realizing that they're called to heal others, feeling a lot of anxiety and feeling a sense of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to awaken my healing gifts, right? How many of us feel that way? Because are we not those children? We are those children. We're like, I'm so confused on how to awaken it, right? That confusion is actually connected to that trauma that happened 100 years ago through the arrival of the missionary in Africa and through all the other laws that have been put, the witchcraft laws that have been put where it was not allowed to work with medicine, right? So this crippling fear you have of being a genetic path cutter comes from that, right? It is the memory of your ancestor alive in you that makes you feel like, oh, they will throw me out of the village. Which village? Now we live in a global village. So you are even afraid to come to the global kotla, like where we come to commune, which is here, to come and share with people that you are a healer because, oh my God, they will persecute me. This was my experience when I had to step into doing this work. The main fear I had was, What will people say? They are going to judge me. If they hear me say ancestors, they will think that I am anti-God, anti-Christ. They will think that I am working with demons. Oh my God, oh my God. I will lose all my friends. How will I explain this to my grandma who has spent her entire life going to church? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We are those children. Yes. So it is not that you don't know your higher purpose. You know your higher purpose. It is that there is something that has corrupted this pure gift that comes from God, that God has been sending throughout your lineage to different beings, and now you're afraid to touch it. And you feel stuck, you feel compelled, you want to listen to Joy and all the other healers, and you hope, oh my God, they will help me one day, they can help me unlock. But you see, we can't help you fully unlock until you release that fear, until the blood, you have to go to the blood and literally reprogram, deprogram, de-encrypt the code, right? Same way as if you have a computer that has a virus, you take it to a technician who will remove the virus, right? And literally restart the computer and return it to its natural state, the way it was before there was a virus that was put in there. That is what any initiation should be doing for you. It's to remove that trauma of your ancestors so that your blood doesn't keep acting as if you are back 100 years ago. Because that's what we're doing. All of us, we're carrying memory and living as if we're back there. We're living as if there's someone who's going to come at night and drag us and judge us and ban us because they are saying we are witches. Right? Because we can spend also hours talking about that witch wound, women, that fear that we have. Oh my God, if I become a healer, how am I supposed to do it in case they say I'm a witch? We had to move through that. Right? So here's the thing. We are awakening. The healers, we are awakening because it's time. You know why we are awakening? Because we are also those ancestors. We have come back. And now there is nothing that's going to stop us. That's why there is something that is refusing to sleep within you. You have the fear, but you can't help yourself but show up to this live stream. Can't help yourself but go read and watch other healers try to learn. That's because that healer code is awakening. Source God, the Holy Spirit, Christ, the Sun, Solaris, the great central sun, our ancient ancestors, they're literally looking at us right now and say, you do better. Do not be coerced into fear. Do not believe those who do not know the ways of spirit, because you are a guardian of spirit. We are with you. Right? That's why you keep coming back to listen. You keep watching, you keep reading, you keep wanting to do. So the point of shadow work is key. But we have to go beyond just going to our memories as we know them today. Right? Typically what shadow work does, or traditional shadow work, it will be, oh, I am so afraid of what will people think. I'm afraid if they see me and they see me with my bundles, they see me with my cloth, they're going to judge me. Right? And in that moment, you are experiencing what we call the vow of invisibility. You feel it's better if you are invisible. If you hide that you're a gift, you are a healer. If you hide your true gifts and masquerade as if, you don't have these gifts, right? So, now I've lost the track of thought. So, you can sit down and try to go and look into which experiences in this lifetime did you go through that made you get scared of being seen. And many of us, we may have stories, maybe in high school when you tried to share something, people laughed at you, right? Or even right now, whenever you try to share with people what you are learning in your spiritual journey, they don't want to listen. So that makes you feel like, oh my God, they won't listen, they won't hear, they won't understand, they will judge me, right? That is where we definitely need to begin to heal, for us to get to the point where the thoughts of others, what people say, matters less and less and less to us, because people will always say something. But that's not, you can't live your life for what will people say. There is a part of you that has to awaken to the realization that your gift is bigger than you. It is not for you. It is for the people of earth. It's for humanity. And so if part of humanity is laughing, critiquing, judging, let them be. Because there is another more than half that is waiting for those gifts that are seeking your medicine. Right? So you have to arrive to that point of that being more. Like your mission being more, your purpose being higher than your fears. In my journey, I went through a lot of shadow work, worked with many healers to heal I had incredible breakthroughs. But everything changed for me. I got to this level that I feel is very different in terms of like the state of peace I have within my being. I have no fear around what anyone will say. You can say whatever you want and it won't batch anything because I know the truth. And that started to happen. Oh my God, my dragon oracle is here. Hi, Alex. Yo, that's my oracle, that's my mentor. She's here. Now you're making me shy. But anyway, so for me, I started to have breakthroughs around my higher purpose, or the fears that I was holding, the miasmas that I was holding. Hi, Queen. Yeah. When I really started to go deeper into spirit, into God, my union with God, when I started to work with what I call the quantum field, right? When we start to work with spirit now, the game is a little different because we are no longer using our mind. Remember that the miasmas, the stories, these vows that we have, is actually the mind who's holding that story, those belief systems, right? So there's a certain level where the mind can help us heal, can help us change those thoughts. This is where, using mantras help, writing in your journals and reconstructing your belief systems really help. There are different modalities that you can use for that. But there is where later on we have to work with something beyond that, right? And that's where the Holy Spirit becomes part of the conversation. That's when the Christ impulse becomes part of the conversation. That's when we work with God directly. The conversation, the game changes. Because I've always said this, the highest level of healing you receive is literally from that higher level of existence, the higher heavenly worlds. That's the highest level of healing, which is why at some level in our higher purpose, it always kind of returns us to our spirituality, right? Like what we do believe in. So we do shadow work, and then we have to go deeper into quantum work, multi-dimensional work. This is why I'm doing this masterclass for the multi-dimensional codes, because how many of us, let me know here, who have done the shadow work? You have done the healing, you have cleared, you have written in your journals, you have listened to the mantras, you have done the rituals, but there is still something within you that makes it difficult for you to just go to the next step, and you don't know what that is, right? And it seems like all these other tools are not working. I arrived to that point myself where I'm just like, what is holding me back? And at that level, of course, it was this corrupted code that was beyond this lifetime, which was ancestral corrupted code of the healer, which was also connected to my soul and the experiences my soul had experienced. And the only way to heal these ancient memories is to, because I didn't create them, I didn't come up with the stories, it means I inherited them. We have to work with something beyond, right? This means we're working with, like, we're experiencing remnants of time. So we have to work with something bigger than time, and that's where God comes in. The quantum field comes in, where all of time exists, and we can do healing there. I don't know if you're with me. Let me know. So sometimes we're not able to step into our higher purpose because what is holding you back actually has nothing to do with you. It's that code that is corrupted, and we need to cleanse it, purify it with these higher technologies. And once we do, then it's easy to step into these your higher purpose wherever you are being called, right? Yes, awesome. So that's what I wanted to share today. You already hold everything that you need. All that's required is the key. And yes, the key is God. The key is the quantum field, the unified field, the Christed state, right? Yes, and this is like, for me, when I started to doing quantum work, it just explained, for example, why right now there is a huge stream and phenomena that's happening, say, in Southern Africa, where a lot of people are awakening and a lot of people are going to initiation schools. And a lot of people, these same people who've been initiated, how many of them are able to work with their gifts? In my experience, not only everyone who has went to initiate is able to work with that gift. Why? Because it was never just about awakening the code. We literally have to collapse every single thing that's holding you back for you to be able to actually fully step into it. Because it's also not about one code. Your higher purpose is not about activating the healer code. We also have to activate other sequences so that you are able to utilize them. We have to activate your culture sequences. We have to activate like your what you are here to do, your brand, your money. All of these things have to be activated, right? Like yesterday I was telling my the quantum healers in the Holy Gate Mastermind that, you know what, one of the main issues we have as spiritual entrepreneurs or spiritually led humans, it is not that we don't know our purpose, is we have a marketing problem. That is one of the main things I've noticed. And we think that like, oh no, it's as long as I've activated my healer, the people will come. That has not been my experience. I've had to activate different codes for me to be able to actually work as a full-time healer. I realized I couldn't just go be initiated and then somehow the people will come. That has not been my experience and no one else's experience. So you have to awaken the different gifts within you because they were all created in this beautiful sequence for you to use them for this higher purpose. I will come, not here on YouTube when I come back for Warriors of Light, I will teach on the Pearl sequence step by step, right? So you can understand it. But the point is, it's not one thing, right? It's not one code. You have many gifts. So if you find yourself like, okay, Joy, I went for coaching training, I went for my healer training, I went to study this in school, but I am still here at home and I'm not able to work with that gift. What's happening? Because there are other elements you are not attending to that are also still part of your code, right? In my journey, things started to actually change when I connected with my money ancestor. There's an ancestor who was really incredibly good with money and business, and I had to connect with that memory, that consciousness, and ask them, oh my God, please teach me, because I am clueless. Because in the modern time, we are not the healers that were healing 100 years ago. Back in those times, you would just live in the village and everyone will know you are the healer and everyone will come to you. Now we live in a global village. The roles are different. So we need to unlock different things within ourselves to actually step into our higher purpose. It doesn't matter what your higher purpose is. It doesn't have to be about healing. Whatever it is, it's not just the gift of creation that you have to awaken. You have to awaken other elements, how you connect with people, how you communicate about your offering, the consistency of communicating with people about your offering as well. Does that make sense? Let me know. I think I'm almost done. Has it been an hour? I think so. Yes. Let me know if you have any questions. So the reason why I'm stepping into, it's not like I've not been doing this. I have been doing multidimensional work. Just like now I'm offering this more publicly and sharing more. It's because I see the power of this, the power of unlocking our keys, our codes, working with the keys that we have and, unlocking what needs to be unlocked. And it's not something that can be done at once. There is definitely, this transmission I'm going to do on Thursday is definitely created to awaken the parts that are ready to be awakened, and it will accelerate how fast you are able to step into your higher purpose. And that's the gift of quantum work, is because we are working with all of time and we're working with God consciousness, we're able to accelerate your journey. Right. So for me, when I was just doing like traditional like shadow work, something that would take me 2 years to heal, now I can literally go through quantum healing and it just collapses. Like as I shared, my mentor is here. She was here. I don't know if she's still here. I go, we have sessions, and then I just collapse an entire thought, belief system that I've held onto for such a really long time. My ancestors have held onto for such a really, really long time. Like, I'll give you an example. I really, for a long time, believed that these teachings I bring here, I swear to you, this was a belief system. I believed Africans won't understand me. So I never bothered to bring them here. And I held on to this, and you could see how that was holding me back from my higher purpose, because my higher purpose is to come and bring these teachings to Africa in particular, right? So it was only after really understanding how big this belief system was, because it was running through so many of the beliefs that I held about what being African is, like, oh, we don't have the mental capacity to handle like such high scientific concepts, our education is not at the level it's supposed to. I had many different mini belief systems, but all of them were coming to, I cannot be understood by my people. And it was only when we collapsed this and healed this that I just came in here, and guess what? I was wrong. Africans can understand this. Yes, I may have to break down things more because I'm bringing you information, but Africans can understand this. How many stories are you holding that are false, that you have believed are true your whole life? How many stories you're holding right now that you really believe is true, but it's false? One of those stories I can tell you that is being a healer is not something I can do full time and make a living of. That's a false story. It's a virus in our community, an infection that comes from our history. But we have to heal it for us to create a new reality. I am in a new reality where I can come online and talk about the things I teach and not feel any fear and not feel like, oh my God, I won't be understood. You understand. You are here. You show up all the time. So you clearly understand. Been proven wrong. Also been proven wrong that you can't be a healer and literally work full-time as a healer. Been proven wrong. Also been proven wrong. No one has ever actually come to me and persecuted me. My family never judged me. If they're judging me, they're doing it where I can hear, which doesn't matter to me because I'm here. I've been doing this for a while. So what are the stories you're holding on to right now? Even if people do judge, what is it going to do to you? It will hurt in that moment. And then what? Nothing. You will not burst into fire. You will still be here. So let them judge and continue to do your higher purpose. My point here today is to know that always the truth, the pathway is always transmutation, right? Healing. When we heal, our gifts just come. Our higher purposes are clarified. Do not be afraid of healing. Do not think it's something you can also skip and bypass. It's not. If you truly want, like, I am really frustrated, really vexed by how many healers get initiated and then go back to work. That really bothers me, to the 9 to 5. Because it means our medicines are out there. The guardians are out there, not doing the guardian work they're supposed to be doing. So I am really vexed by that. And I am completely devoted to change that, even if it means I come here and I keep reminding you over and over and over again that the pathway for us to truly step into is to release the fears so that we can be brave and confident and courageous. Doesn't mean once you've healed it's also easy. It's a continuous process, but it definitely does get better. It definitely does create results. You will manifest the students, you manifest the clients, you manifest whatever it is that you are wanting to create as part of your higher purpose. But it cannot be done in isolation. You can't also just do one thing and then think all of it is going to work. And I know this happens a lot. Don't go into overwhelm thinking, oh my God, Joy, where do I begin? Begin where you are today. Right now, where are you feeling pain around your higher purpose? What are you struggling with? What is so difficult for you? That's what you start with. Not all of them, right? And no, it is not initiation you need. A lot of the time people think that's where they're supposed to start. No. Personally, I think start with getting to know yourself. Getting to map who you are before you go and initiate or awaken. Heal first. It will be much easier that way because you can go and initiate, and guess what? That shadow frequency will pull you back and it will still feel like you never went through initiation. So you need to heal. You cannot skip it. Yes. Okay, my loves, if you are ready to come and experience what I've been talking about, we're going to be collapsing all these stories, all these programs, all these old ancestral cases in the multi-dimensional codes that I'm doing this Thursday. $44 will get you into the masterclass. You can just click my link and pay. It will say pay with PayPal, enter your codes. Sign up and then pay with your bank card. You will have access to this activation your whole life, by the way. It will be recorded. There will be a booklet also. And yes, you can always come back to it. And each time you do, you will experience more collapse of these things that are more ancient than you realize. And that's why I'm doing it in this way, right? Because it's beyond the mind. So we're going to work with something beyond the mind. Okay? Thank you for joining me. I will see you possibly next week, Sunday. Otherwise, check out my stories. I'm constantly doing that, stories, to keep up with what's going on. Yes. Okay. Bye, my loves.